What's up, y'all? Micah here. And in this video, I want to share with you how I made $20,000 last month in client contracts and how I'm helping other nurse coaches to actually get paid coaching, doing what they love. And I'm doing all of this with pretty simple tech. I mostly just use a platform called Skool, which has a $9 a month option. I hear about all these different platforms you guys are using: Practice Better, Cohere, all these things. And it seems relatively complex. And also, you guys are often really caught up in like creating pretty websites and logos and things like that. I don't have that. I don't even have a real website. And I'm still making fairly good money because I'm focused on the right things and I'm not really focused on the wrong things. And in this video, I want to share with you some of the things that you probably should be focused on because they're the things that are the needle movers and hopefully help steer you away from some of the things that maybe aren't as important, like having pretty logos and websites and things like that. And so, what we'll do is just start with what I call the flywheel, and not what I call, this is called the flywheel effect. It's a pretty common understanding of how to really create predictable systems of bringing in clients. And so we're going to break this down together. This is just this is my kind of visual of how I understand the flywheel effect. And hopefully this helps many of you as well. If you do not yet have a clear offer, meaning you don't yet have clarity around the exact person that you serve, the exact problem that you solve, the exact outcome that you helped them to get to, I would suggest going back to the previous YouTube video that I just did on creating hell yes offers. This is about an hour-long workshop, and I uploaded the recording of this for you guys to have. It is on my YouTube, and it should be the video that's just before this video. And so if you haven't already checked that out, highly suggest you go do that. That will give you crystal clear clarity on how to actually create offers that sell. And you're going to need that first because now what we're going to talk about is how to get people into that specific offer. A lot of you have pro bono clients under your belt. You've done a lot of pro bono coaching. And so maybe you don't need extra pro bono hours. But what I would suggest is either doing some pro bono work around the specific offer that you want to move towards, or a really discounted rate on the specific offer that you want to move towards. Because if you have testimonials, but they're not related to the offer that you're stepping into, it's not going to be super relevant. What you want to do is get some really solid testimonials on the specific offer that you are stepping into. If that's weight loss, you want to get some really solid testimonials on the weight that you helped X, Y, and Z person lose. If it's helping, a single guy his his dream girl, like, you want to get some solid testimonials on how you helped this guy step into becoming the kind of person that he needed to become to land his dream girl. If you are stepping into helping diabetics lower their A1C, you want to show some testimonials of very clear, tangible results. This was their A1C before, this is their A1C now. If you want a result like this, here's how you can work with me. Comment below or send me a DM, etc. So we're going to go a little bit further into that, but hopefully this is making sense as to why it's really important to have a clear offer, because then you're going to need to get some testimonials that speak specifically to that result. If you don't yet have some, either work with people for free or at a super discounted price point to start to get some of those testimonials. And you'll do that in exchange for three things: a written testimonial, a video testimonial, and a pinky promise that they will share on their social media about the result that you helped them to get. That way, you're not just leveraging the audience that you have of your friends and your family and your coworkers. You are now leveraging the audience of other people and getting your stuff in front of strangers. So now you have more interest from people that haven't been seeing a lot of your things. And maybe from those strangers, they see the result that you just helped their friend to get. And they're like, I want that too. I'm going to go follow this person, or I'm going to message this person, or I'm going to keep my eye on the stuff that this person is putting out into the world because I'm really interested in also getting that same result. Use this strategy. I promise you guys, it is so powerful. I can't tell you how many people have come into my world because they were like, well, I saw my friend post about the program that she went through with you and blah, 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 blah. And boom, I'm in a conversation with a complete stranger that has trust in me and the work that I do because their friend posted about it. They didn't see it from a stranger. They saw it from a friend who they have a connection with and they trust. So, what you want to do here is you want to help people get results, make the clients happy, and use those testimonials as content. Blast that content on your page, have them blast it on their page, turn it into content. And by the way, the content that you create from clients doesn't just have to be testimonials. You might get ideas from client sessions that then become forms of content. You might get ideas from certain group calls. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten off a group call and I'm like, oh my God, this gives me so many ideas of pieces of content that my ideal client need to hear. And so from clients, I have ideas for content and I'm creating content, then using CTAs, calls to action, such as DM me for more info or comment below if you want this free thing that I created to help you create the same outcome. And so in those conversations, you are building trust. You are being a human. Don't make this weird, you guys. I say to our clients all the time, be a human. Don't be weird. Make connections. Pretend like the goal is just make friends. And if some of those people become clients because you've been so valuable and showing up for them and providing a lot of support and resource, amazing. But sometimes they'll just become great connections, maybe collaborations down the road. Who knows? You don't have to go into it with this pressure that they need to become a client. Simply build trust with them, be a human, make a connection. If it makes sense and it's aligning to invite them into a call, you've been vibing with them in the DMs, things are going well, you're supporting them. They're like, thank you so much. Would love to get to know more about how I can work with you. Invite them into a call. By the way, not many people are going to ask, how can I work with you? You have to be a little bit more proactive than that. Sometimes people will, but most of the time, you need to kind of push the conversation forward. Asking questions of curiosity, really digging into this stuff. In Nursepreneur Accelerator, I have literal DM scripts and frameworks that people can follow to really help you move conversations forward and know questions to ask and things like that. But if you can just be compassionately curious about the person that you're communicating with, then the conversation will continue. If they are the right fit, you can enroll them as a client. In our program, we teach a 2-call close. So the first call is just getting to know someone, figuring out who they are, figuring out if you can actually help them. And then if you can, inviting them into another call where you talk more about what that could look like. And then you can enroll them into a client, roll them into being a client in that second call into your coaching program or your course or your container, whatever it is. And then as you enroll that client, you're getting them great results. You're making them happy. You're getting testimonials from them. You're turning that into content and the flywheel continues. So this is how it starts. I promise you guys, this is how I began my coaching business, by really focusing on how to show up for people, how to serve them powerfully, how to get them amazing results, turning that into content that I blast everywhere, and then bringing people into conversations from that. Sometimes I do free trainings and workshops, and I use that as content. Hey, I just created this free training on X, Y, and Z. Comment below if you want it. And then I have all these people comment below, and then I'm getting into the DMs with them. Hey, thanks so much for your comment. I saw you wanted my free training. Here it is. By the way, how is that thing going? So this is how you can start those conversations. Hopefully you guys are getting some insights so far. I know we're blazing through a lot, but I just want this to be as valuable as possible so you guys can actually take this stuff, apply it in your own businesses, and start to make money doing what you love and having an impact. Let's talk about client journey. These are really the steps that a person is taking with you as they are getting to know you. These are what we want to think about this as, is like how to get them from stranger to, it's like if you wanted to ask somebody on a date how to approach someone, and then how to build trust with them, how to banter, how to then like establish chemistry and a vibe, and then ask them on a date. And then maybe a few more dates, and then maybe into a long-term relationship, and then eventually maybe into a marriage. But you don't go straight from stranger to asking someone to marry you. That's crazy. And no one in their right mind would say yes to that. And so there are steps that have to be taken before you do something like that to build trust with an individual. The first thing is just awareness, which is lead generation. So how does a person become aware of you and the work that you do? This will happen through content, through lead magnets, through paid ads, any way that they're coming into your world. I would suggest not running paid ads until you have a very clear, validated offer that is doing well and you have some clients in place. But really focus on, what does it look like for me to continue to show up, to be visible, to be almost impossible to ignore, and bring awareness by being impossible to ignore. The next step is lead nurture. This is really where you're building trust. You're going to build trust by continuing to show up and be visible in a content cadence. This, I want you guys to think about longer form content. For example, this YouTube video, we're about 10 minutes into it. This is not a 60-second reel. This is you guys sitting down and diving into a training with me where you are seeing how I show up, my vibe, how I can support the things that I bring to the table. You want to think about how you can do that and maybe some longer form content and having a content cadence. Really, again, being impossible to ignore. You also can build trust through lead magnets and freebies, offering your support without anything in exchange, no strings attached. You just created this resource and you want to send it to them to show them what you know or how you can help or how you serve, etc. Another thing is the community, and we're going to talk a lot more about this here in just a moment, but this is really what I'm talking about when I mentioned that I do most of my business on a platform called Skool. I have a Skool community, and that's mostly where our hub is. I have free trainings in there. I have the community in there. We have a calendar tab in there where we host live calls and workshops, and I am constantly showing up for my community. As a result, I'm building trust with them. I'm building something that, honestly, you guys, it's not just about creating clients. I'm creating experiences. I'm creating connections that doesn't really even matter to me if people become clients, because the ROI, the real return on investment for me is the connections. It is the beautiful human interactions that I have getting to know these other amazing human beings that are doing really cool things in the world. Some of those become clients of mine, and that's awesome. But what I'm really creating is even bigger than that. And so I love Skool for that reason. This is another thing that you can do. I just talked about long form content, starting a YouTube channel. Highly recommend doing that. Maybe even creating a mini VSL, which is a video sales letter, a complete overview of who you are, your background, your story, your offer, why you do what you do, how you can help people, and what they should do next if they want to work with you. So that's lead nurture. The next step would be conversion, how to actually get them into your offer. If your offer isn't dialed, this is never going to work. So again, go back to my Creating Hell Yes Offers workshop recording and check that out if you're not sure if you have a dialed in offer yet. And you also need sales skills or enrollment skills. So the ability to actually demonstrate the value that you're bringing to the table and why the exchange that you're asking for, the monetary value that you're putting on this program, is absolutely worth it. If you're not solving a valuable problem, you're not going to get paid. If you create an offer that solves a valuable problem and helps people get to a dream outcome, it will become so much easier for you to sell what you're doing. And by the way, you have to have passion behind this. If you don't have passion, man, you guys, forget about it. People will not be attracted to that. The most magnetizing thing that you can be is passionate. The most magnetizing thing you could be is authentically you, excited about whatever it is you're into, whatever lights you up. And another thing that would be really helpful to have is DM strength. So knowing, again, how to lead those conversations in the DMs, how to nudge people along, etc. The fourth step is delivery. So this is once they're in your offer, once you've converted them into becoming a paying client, actually delivering results, having clear onboarding processes, having abilities or having things in place to create the ability for your clients to get quick wins, to create massive success. In my program, we have a culture of success. We expect success, we celebrate success, and we have a massive culture of success. And so when people come into our world, they get quick results. And they do that because of the kind of atmosphere that we've created. With delivery, you really want to create an atmosphere of allowing your clients to get quick wins, to be happy so that they produce really strong testimonials, and also so that their lives are changed. This isn't just about creating cool testimonials, this is really about impacting people. And it's fulfilling when you impact people. It's fulfilling when they walk away super stoked on the transformation that they created. The last step is retention. So, this is thinking about after they've gone through a program or service of mine, do I have anything in place to keep them on as a client? Do I have a retention method or model? Do I have a way for them to stay on at a monthly retainer or in a community membership? If people want to keep working with you, do they have the ability to do that? And do you have a clear retention plan? So, really, what you're doing here throughout these steps is you're driving traffic, you're building trust, you're making offers, and you're delivering results. From those results, you're using that as content to then come back and drive traffic again, going back to that flywheel. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the free community model, how I use Skool to drive traffic into different touch points with me where I can build trust with them, really get to know them, create human connections and beautiful experiences for them, and allow the right people to start to work with me from that point of connection, from that point of actually having established relationships inside of this community. So before we dig into it, the requirements for this to work is, again, having a solid offer, having some social proof, and having some enrollment and sales skills. So before I dig into some of the nitty gritty of this kind of funnel, this actual client journey, know that these are the things that will be required to make this work optimally. So, again, talking about these different steps: lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, etc. Here we have lead generation. So, for thinking about what am I doing to drive traffic to my community? Well, I'm creating content, I'm getting in the DMs with people. I don't really do a lot of paid ads. Every once in a blue moon, I'll do that. But most of it is coming from my content cadence in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and DMs that I'm sending people, just getting into conversations, making connections, being a human, being supportive. And then if they're the right fit, I'll be like, yo, I actually have a free community that supports people like you. Would you like to come in and experience it? No pressure either way, but it's free. I got nothing to lose. Most people are like, absolutely, I would love that. And I usually tell them, I have free trainings in there on this exact thing that you're telling me you're struggling with. If you have your freebies inside of your free community, you can incentivize people joining your free community by saying you can get the freebie if you join the community. So inside of that free community is where the lead nurture happens. And that's that's where we're building trust with people. So this will happen in the course content, those free trainings, in the live calls or live workshops that you do inside of the community, in your one-on-one calls with them. If you get on one-on-one calls, maybe as a gift for all the community members, you do free strategy calls or free discovery calls, free clarity calls, free connection calls, whatever you want to call them. And you do one-on-one calls and you get to know people and you serve and you show up and you give them powerful experiences and you ask them if they want to experience more of that. And then maybe you sell them into an offer if so. Don't be attached to the outcome. Simply show up and serve, especially at the beginning. In the first 3 months of your free community, just show up. Just show up with nothing to ask in exchange, no offer to present, just showing up and serving and creating trust with your audience. You'll also create that trust in the community engagement and the way that you interact with everybody in the community and in the DMs. So there's a community tab, which I'll just show you here what it looks like inside of our community Nursepreneur Lab. So there's a community tab, and this is where a lot of us are interacting together. We're making posts, we're sharing wins, I'm sharing a lot of helpful resources, etc. And so I'm making connections with people in this community this way. Also, this is where all the free trainings are, and this is the classroom where we host our live events, so live workshops, live trainings, etc. The workshop I just did was on how to create hell yes offers, which I mentioned to you guys before. I just uploaded onto the YouTube, but you guys have an idea, hopefully seeing this, of what it actually looks like to have all these touch points with your ideal clients inside of a free community. I had this community before in the microdosing space. I still have it. Creating connections in the microdosing space, helping people with some trainings on microdosing, how to get started, where to safely get the product, where to safely, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's not coming to me right now. Having a brain fart, but you guys get the point. You're bringing people into a community, you're serving them powerfully, you're showing them what you're made of. And in one on one calls is where you will enroll them into a high ticket offer. I strongly suggest not having a low ticket offer when you're just getting started. It is almost as hard to sell. And so instead of like, maybe at 3K a month, you basically just need, or at 3K per offer, you basically just need to sign 3 clients a month to get to 10K. But if you have a $27 offer, I don't know the math right now, but you have to sell a lot of people into that offer. So hopefully you get the point. It's a lot easier to sell people on a high ticket offer. And the best thing that you can do for selling a high ticket offer is proximity to you. Instead of selling them a course or a digital product or something, help them. Sell them into proximity to you, maybe a done with you offer or a done for you offer. Do the unscalable at the beginning to build trust, get amazing results, and show people how you can actually help them. This is the conversion piece. Lastly, before I get into that, delivery happens between selling them on the offer and retaining them. So just know that in this arrow is where delivery is. You showing up, you helping them get the results, you being a powerful coach. And then because you've shown up for them, they've got such amazing results, they want to stick around. And that's where retention comes in. All right, y'all, we have gone over a lot in 22 minutes. I hope this has been so helpful for you guys. There is a lot here. There's so much here. And if at any point you feel like, man, I would really love to get some help on creating my offer or understanding how to get into these kinds of conversations with people, to bring them into calls, to then create clients, if you need help with any part of this process, I want to just invite you to book a call below and let's see if we can help you. There's no strings attached. We don't do any selling on these calls. I don't allow my team to do any selling on these calls because, again, we just want to support you. We just want to show up. We just want to earn your trust. If you get on a call, it's not helpful, no harm, no foul. But if you get on a call and you want to look into what it would actually look like to get our help in building out your nurse coaching business alongside you, happy to talk about that with you in another call. Again, we don't talk about that in the first call. So if at all it is on your heart to get some support and you just need the right roadmap and the right support to actually get you to where you want to be, you can book a call down below. I'm so grateful that you have stuck with me through this 23-minute video. I hope this was so helpful. I hope that you have a lot to chew on and some clear strategies to implement so that you can create a sustainable coaching business and become a paid nurse coach. I'll see you guys in the next video.